Hey, this is Prak with iRepairMD, and today we have a iPhone 6 Plus White that had a shadowed screen. As you can see, the screen is shadowed, but everything else works. And so today, what we're gonna do is just do a typical screen replacement. And what you're gonna need is a screwdriver. You need the T2 penelope, and also the Phillips screwdriver, the 000 shred head. And I have my power screwdriver, my wow stick here. And I purchased this LCD here from Amazon for about $45. Prices range from $45 to $65. This is a pretty good price you expect to get. Always power down the iPhone. Okay, once you power down, go ahead and take the penelope out. So at the bottom of the screw here, go ahead, pull out the penelope. Okay, I'm going to place it in this tray right here. This screwdriver is actually, it's probably the most used tool that I have here. It's just enough torque to undo a screw. Alright. So what we need is just a pry tool. And go ahead and lift the edge. Pry tool like so. Then lift the edge off and run the pry tool around the edge so you can lift the frame off the phone. Alright. Run the pry tool all around. Okay. Now let's go ahead and lift the phone up. Alright, so the first thing we need to do, as always, is disable the battery. You don't want any electrical current to run through as you're replacing this. So I'm going to go ahead and switch off my screw here. Go ahead and put the Phillips in. And this is the battery bracket right here. So let's go ahead and disable the battery. Okay. This is a magnetic screw. It should lift off without any issue. Okay. Here's a pry tool. Go ahead and lift this up. Take the plate out, and now go ahead and disable the battery. And this is the battery cord right here. Okay, now the battery disabled, you're good to go. So pull this away. Okay, so now once we have the battery disabled, what we need to do is go ahead and take the plate off the Digitizer and LCD connectors. Okay, and there should be 5 screws, all Phillips. Alright. Okay, have the screws off. Go ahead, remove the plate. Now penelope, the pry tool. Go ahead and lift the pry. There's a pry tool to lift the Digitizer and LCD off. Now go ahead and lift the camera, and this is the main LCD. Now you have this off. What we're gonna do, let's go ahead and put this out of play for now, and we're gonna test our LCD. So majority of these things, once you buy it, they advise you that before you completely install it, you have to test the LCD to make sure that it is working and it'll be covered under warranty. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put this LCD into place just to see if it works. Alright, now let's put the digitizer and LCD in. Now let's go ahead and plug the battery back in. And now let's go ahead and turn on the phone to make sure that this still works. Alright, now we power on the phone. And what we need to do is check to see if all the colors are represented, and also we're going to feel around in the digitizer to make sure there's no dead spot in the digitizer. Okay, and so what we're doing is waiting for the phone to boot up. Once everything is good, we're going to take all these components, as you see here, transferring over. Alright, so now we're testing the digitizer, running it up and down all around. Okay, everything is good, the color is great. So let's go ahead and power down the phone again. Now that the phone is powered down, wait a couple seconds, and then we can go ahead and again disengage the battery, or disconnect the battery connector. Once you have that, go ahead and lift the digitizer and LCD flex. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the phone out of play, and so we're going to transfer the component of the LCD. Alright, so once you buy the LCD from Amazon, what you're going to get is just the LCD alone with the touch. All the other components, the ear mic, the forward-facing camera, the brackets, and the fingerprint are all going to be transferred from the broken phone. Okay, and the thing about this fingerprint, these buttons here, they are actually especially paired for the phone. So what you don't want to do is actually get a different one that does not paired for the phone, because each of these buttons are actually made serialized to the actual logic board. So in order to get the fingerprint to work, you'll need the original. So what we need to do is always use the original components. So let's go ahead. Now that we have that, take the shielding off. First thing we're going to do is transfer the home button. Okay. And this is a home button plate. Go ahead and lift that up. Okay, so now what you're going to have is the touch ID button, and there's a flex cable that connects to the main back support plate. What we need to do is go ahead and disconnect that connector right there. Okay, and now what we need to do is we're going to apply a little heat right here to loosen up the adhesive so we can remove it without damaging the flex. Okay, so what we're going to do is add a little heat. I have a heat gun here. It's a low power heat gun. You can probably use a hairdryer too if you like. And we're going to apply heat right over here. Just enough so we can deactivate the glue or weaken the glue. Okay, that should be enough for us to actually loosen the adhesive, like we have here. Now go ahead and lightly push. Okay, you have these gasket here that's rubberized. It's also, the heat will actually loosen the rubberized adhesive, the gasket. Alright, so carefully transfer it over. And now once we have that, go ahead and transfer it onto this slot here. There's a few dimples here for you to actually place it for spacing. Okay, now we have that transfer over. Home button is good. So now you also notice there are these rubberized bumpers. We'll go ahead and transfer that over also. Alright. What we need to do next is go ahead and remove the backing of the new screen. Alright. And now let's go ahead and take the shielding off to transfer over. And these are Phillips screws here. Okay. There are 3 on each side. Alright, now the other 3 right here. Alright. So now we have one more screw left. Alright, so let's go ahead and disassemble this first. We have the top plate right here. Okay, just make sure all the screws, so you keep track of where they go. Most of the screws are the same size. There are some that's a little deeper, some a little thinner, some with a few different tread, but most of the tread count all about the same. But what you want is to make sure that they all go to the same area where they came out of. Alright, so now let's go ahead and remove the speaker cover. And this is the headphone mic or headphone speaker. Then you have the front camera and the proximity sensor. And again, with this one, you will probably need to add a little heat also, just to loosen up that adhesive. So with this, we're gonna go ahead and add a little heat to the front and back. Alright, now the heat is removed from there. Go ahead and carefully lift it up. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and raise proximity sensor out. And this is the voice cancellation mic. And be very careful when you pull this up. You don't want to rip the flex either in the process. So pull up slowly. Alright, now that we have that off, we're going to go ahead and just peel the adhesive off. This is the dust guard. Alright, let's go ahead and transfer these components to your new screen. Okay, the new screen does have if you look right here, you'll see the adhesive protector. Let's go ahead and remove the adhesive shield off. It's a clear adhesive shield right here. Go ahead and peel it off. And now let's go ahead and put the mic in. Put the voice cancellation mic. There's a small little dimple right here, and there's a hole. You can see the hole right inside. So you want the dimple and the hole to match, like that. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little closer. You can see what I'm talking about. Let's just concentrate on the top half right here. Okay, so now what we want to do is go ahead and put the proximity sensor into place like we have here. Okay, once the proximity sensor is in place and it's flush, okay, now what we want to do is go ahead and put the speaker, the ear speaker, back in. So you have this little nozzle here, and then there's the receiver. Make sure they both match. Okay, so now that's in place. Okay, and these top screw holes, one here and one there, are exposed. And now you have these contacts, these spring contacts, there are 4 spring contacts, and there's 4 receivers here. Make sure they all line up, and there's also a dimple and 2 spurs to actually align them. So go ahead and move it around until they match. Okay, now you got the dimple and spurs in. So what you want to do now is go ahead and put the bracket back on. Now you have the bracket back into place. Okay, and this is what you have. Okay, so go ahead now, put the screws back where we took them so we can fasten it back in. Okay, and the other screw here. Okay. Okay, so now you have all that. What we're going to need to do is go ahead and transfer the metal shielding, back shielding over. So this is what the broken screen was, and don't forget there is a connector here that's adhesive bound, so we're going to need to use the heat gun again, and we're going to apply heat to the other side. Also a little bit in the front. Alright. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and remove the plate carefully. And we're going to pull this off also carefully. Be very careful. Concentrate that you don't rip the connector. So you want to just peel it off as careful as possible without damaging the flex. Okay, so that's all done. What we need to do is also, don't forget to take one more screw off. I almost forgot that one. Bottom screws here. Alright, now let's go ahead and carefully move the plate. Okay, now you have all the components transfer over. Go ahead and fold this forward like this. And now down here, you want to align all the components. Okay, I'm going to concentrate on this area here. Show you what to do next. Okay, with this area, what you want to do is to make sure that the home button connection in this is resting. This is where we need to make the connector work. I'll reconnect them. So now I'm going to put this into place. Go ahead and put the connector in. Okay, should hear a snap like that. Now the connector should be back into place. Okay, the connector is in. What we're going to need to do is go ahead and put the bracket, mounting bracket, back in. And let's go ahead and put the screw back into place. Okay. We're pretty much almost done here. We have only a little bit ways to go. Let's go ahead and align this. There you go. Put this bumper back in. Put the bumper in. Okay, so now what we're going to need to do is go ahead and put the screws on these tips here, fasten everything, and we're almost ready. Alright, it's always good to have a screwdriver with a magnetic tip. Alright, got one more left. Alright, so what we need to do now is, well, go ahead and put the side braces back on. Again, there's no need to really go to a repair shop if everything you need is here. You can definitely, if you want parts for this repair, you can even buy the LCD from my shop. My site is below. You can buy the screwdriver and all the tools you need for the repair. And if you're interested in finding more about what we can do for your shop, just send us an email. My website, my YouTube video is not sponsored by anyone. I just do this because I feel like I want to share the knowledge, but it does help me a lot if you guys hit like and subscribe. And my video is not just repairing, you know, mobile phones and tablets. It also goes into drones. I do product review, smart mobility, so anything that I would personally use myself, I would recommend. So I'm revamping my channel. Next month we're going to have a whole new look, and I want to try to increase the quality. So far my video has been strictly a tutorial video, but what I will try to do is create more creative content and give you guys more electronic review. Okay, so now you have this already set up. What we're going to do now is go ahead and bring the phone back in, and let's go ahead and start connecting. Alright, so what we're going to do is go ahead and connect this back into place. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Okay, so now just going to put the digitizer into place, and then we can go ahead and put the LCD into place here. Okay, you'll hear the actual seating of it. You'll feel the snap. We'll put the camera and the microphone back into place. So what you're trying to feel is the connector seating with the main logic board. And now we go ahead and put the microphone speaker into place. Okay, so what we need to do now is put the battery back in, and before we put everything back together, let's go ahead and power the phone on and test everything. Okay, so we're waiting for the phone to come back on. Just inspect everything. Things look good. Go ahead and check the camera to make sure everything works. Yep. Camera works, everything works. Check the home button. And then let's go ahead and verify the Touch ID actually works. So let's see. Yep, Touch ID does work, so everything here does work. Now let's go ahead and power down the phone as we put it back together. Now let's go ahead and put the plate back on. Align the screws. Alright. The deeper of the Phillips goes here. Initiate the light. You have to excuse my angle here. I'm trying to do this and also put the camera in the right position, so it kind of hinders my perspective a little bit. So if I slip, you have to pardon me. It's kind of tough to work around a camera. Okay. And now let's go ahead and put the rest of the screws in. It's kind of tough to position this. Alright. There we go. Trying to maneuver myself around the camera is a little difficult, but I just want to make sure you guys can have the best perspective of this repair so you're able to do it yourself. And should you want to make a few extra bucks, this is definitely a nice hobby that can make money. And what I try to do every month is do a review video and along with a repair video. And again, the video ranges from smart mobility to drones to just pretty much everything. VR. I have a laser cutter, 3D printing, so anything that has to do with the digital world, my site or my channel will cover it. Okay, so now we have this already set. Now we're going to go ahead and put the battery cover into place. Let's go ahead and put the battery cover back on. This is the battery cover here. All right. Secure the battery. And then secure the other piece. Alright, so now let's go ahead and seal it. Alright, so there's to seal it, it's a lip right here. You can see these little spurs or lip. What you want to do is actually slide it from the top first. You want to lock it into a hinge. Okay, now that it's locked, go ahead and fold it down on the side, just slowly. Then just go ahead and run the frame flush. Okay, and now go ahead and put the pentalobe back in. Put the pentalobe screw back in. All right. And so let's go ahead and power on the phone. And now let's take a look at everything. So now, as you can see, we started out with a cracked LCD. Ordered a new one from Amazon for about 40 bucks. You can buy it from my website also, link below. Okay, now we're testing everything. The new one has these plastic cover. I'm going to keep it on, give it to the customer that way. I'm going to go ahead and power the phone down. So now this phone is pretty much ready to go. Time to give it back to the customer. Anyways, this is Prak with iRepairMD, and what you saw was an iPhone 6 Plus screen repair.